Hello everybody, it is me, the theatric dyspraxic. I've been doing some reaction videos for a little while, and I intend to make more, but I haven't really made any content in a few days. And I just wanted to explain sort of the reason why I'm just kind of taking a break from that, even though I kind of just started doing that. I've enjoyed doing it so far. It's just that lately, with things that have been going on, I've just been, it's harder to keep up with things like that, and I have other things that I need to focus my time and energy on. And, you know, I try to make the videos easy, you know, but because I have, you know, difficulties with my computer, you know, my computer sort of crashes a lot, and the editing software that I use for the videos that I make crash quite a bit. So it takes me a little while to, you know, to edit them and to process them and upload them onto YouTube and stuff. So it's just, yeah, it's just been hard to keep up with that lately. And also, there's been some things that have been happening in my life recently that have made it difficult to really focus on things like that. One, you know, I have a really bad, you know, my mental health hasn't been great, and making videos, you know, and editing videos and having to look at myself and hear myself speak and all that it's hard for me sometimes, and sometimes it just makes it worse. So I've kind of had to take some time away from that and just not. It seems counterproductive, but like not focus on myself for a while, but also focus myself at the same time, but just in a different context. And sorry that I'm kind of like pacing around as I make this video. It's hard for me to just sit still for the moment, but yeah, there's not a lot of people watch my channel, so I don't think it really matters that I'm making this video right now. But well, very few people watch the channel, and even fewer people read my blog, and my blog goes into more details about what's sort of been going on in my life and sort of the personal things that it's hard for me to talk about on camera, you know, that is easier to write about rather than just, you know, tell to an imaginary audience. But to put it kind of simply, I've been struggling financially for a while. The later half of 2019 and all of 2020 so far, I've really struggled financially with being able to pay rent, being able to pay bills, and unfortunately for a while it seems that my brother has to sort of take the crux of it. He works for DoorDash, which is, if you're not from the United States, it's basically a delivery app, and basically you just go to, you know, restaurants and pick up people's orders, and you get paid for it, you get tips and all that. And he makes decent money doing that, enough to barely keep us afloat, you know, when we have to get money from other people, borrow money. And luckily I've had a few people help me out a little bit financially, a little bit, you know, just with small donations. And of course I probably will never be able to pay them back, unfortunately, which I would like to, but I've been trying to find a job, but if, you know, as people with dyspraxia might know, that sometimes you have to pick and choose the kind of jobs that, especially, you know, if you have mental health problems too, there are jobs that are just not good for that, and they're not good for like anxiety and whatnot. And when you're dyspraxic, there's certain jobs that you do better than others, and certain jobs that you struggle with more than others. So like for me, I have had experience in fast food, and my most recent job was as a server at a restaurant, which I talked all about in my blog, and how my dyspraxia has affected that. And the truth of the matter is I was not very good at either one of those jobs. I did not enjoy it. It was really hard for me. So it's hard for me to go back into fields like that. Really hard. I was pretty alright doing retail. Retail jobs like Walmart were the only jobs that I ever had where I didn't screw up so royally that, like, I could seem like a good worker. I could seem competent. And even though it wasn't the most glamorous kind of work, but it was, I enjoyed the people I worked with for the most part, and with a few exceptions. But in the department that I was in, I liked the managers and they liked me, and they wanted me back. I ended up sorry. It's hard for me to control my thoughts, but they whenever I left Walmart like a year ago, back in July of 2019, I had left at the end of July because of some health problems that I was having, and the job itself was very stressful and very physically demanding, and it only made my health problems worse. So I needed to take some time away and take some extended time to kind of recover from that. But unfortunately, whenever I tried to apply once again, there was some sort of assessment I had to take. And the assessment, for whatever reason, let me turn this on, just get a bit more lighting. The assessment that I took, somehow I ended up failing, despite the fact that I, chose my answers based on my experience at the job in the past, from what I understood, with working there and stuff. And once you fail the assessment, which is a ridiculous assessment, and it's really, I don't understand how anybody passes. They're looking for very specific types of answers, and they don't give you any indication of what kind of answers they want. You just kind of have to come to that conclusion. And if you fail basically even one, like if you get even one answer wrong, which the answers are kind of like, the choices are set up to where it's like, it's not really clear what the right answer is, because some things could be right, some things could be wrong, and there's a lot of gray area. But they want sort of consistency, and there's just a lot of it's overly complicated and convoluted, and as a result I ended up failing. So and the thing is, if you fail it, you cannot apply for 6 months. You are banned basically from applying for 6 months. So this was it was like March. So it was like around September, October that I applied, and yeah, it wasn't until March that I was able to to apply again. And once March came, that was around the time that the pandemic really hit, and I lost my job at Montana, and I was very unsure what was going to happen. And then I sort of kind of became reclusive, and my mental health became bad, and it was really hard for me to deal with that kind of, just dealing with anything. It was hard for me, and I just kind of kept to myself, and I focused on writing my book and working on blogs, and I started making videos and stuff. Little projects that were sort of passion projects for me, and things that I was able to do just to kind of like deal with my anxiety and all that, and depression. And but I finally decided to give it a go and apply again to Walmart. And this time I had advice from what they're kind of looking for, as far as the employers and whatnot, and corporate. So people gave me advice. Like my old manager said, they're looking for answers that have a focus on teamwork and working together, and all that. But then I also heard like they want like sort of black and white answers, like because they have like a lot of questions were like strongly agree, disagree, strongly agree, strongly disagree, or somewhat disagree. And so I did, I did that, and not only that, but my brother, who has also had experience working in retail, he sat with me while he was pacing around, but he was around me, and I read, he and I discussed the questions and what the answers should be together. And even though, despite our experiences, and despite our vast history in retail and just actually working at these places, I was told that I failed again. So now I'm unable to apply until December. And there's places that are hiring, but again, it's really hard for me because my mental health is still an issue, but because of my financial situation, I'm not able to do anything about it, and I have to get a job. I have to work. But it's really hard for me to just work any kind of job because, I don't know what it's going to be like, because I know some people would watch this and think like, well, why can't you just be a man, suck it up, and just deal with it because you have to, and I totally and I get that. But at the same time, when you're dyspraxic and you have problems with anxiety, and it's really hard, a dyspraxic in a work environment, they struggle more than pretty much anybody. And I'm not going to go into it because this video was already running long. I'm just kind of ranting and venting about sort of the frustrations. But there's a lot of difficulties in a work environment. You can read about it. You can read about people's experiences and their troubles with being dyspraxic in the workplace. But there's a lot, you make a lot of mistakes, and there's a lot of embarrassment and humiliation and people treating you like you're lazy or stupid and incompetent, and all that is really hard to deal with. It's hard to, it would be hard to deal with for a regular neurotypical person, but when you have something, something you've dealt with this sort of thing your whole life, and people don't understand it because there's no awareness for dyspraxia, then yeah, it's just it takes an even greater emotional toll. And so that's what I've been dealing with, and I'm down to less than $100. I have never got my stimulus payment from the government. I tried to apply for unemployment, and that ran into issues, and that I can't get a hold of anybody to sort those issues out. So there's nothing I can do about that. I couldn't reach anybody about the stimulus payment. I was on the phone. I was on hold for about 2 hours. I was on hold with somebody for like half an hour who tried to transfer me to somebody else, and I waited like 15 minutes to get hold of that person, and that person tried to transfer me to somebody else, and then it was like I was on hold for like an hour. Coincidentally, my oldest brother showed up to give us a little bit of money, about $100 or about $300, to help us with our rent, because I haven't been able to contribute to rent at all. And I was on hold the entire time he was there, and while he was there, and we were talking for a while, he was, it's been about an hour that I was on hold, and then I ended up getting hung up on. So it was just like, you can't reach anybody, you can't talk to anybody, and you can't fix any of this stuff. And I don't even know what to do now. And people always say, oh, I'll just get a job. But they act like getting a job is so easy, And with the pandemic going on, like, even though places have reopened, a lot of places aren't hiring as much. Because a lot of businesses have had to put in restrictions where they don't make as much money, so they can't hire as many people. They can't afford to pay as many people for hours and give people the hours that they need. The economy sucks, and people like me, even when they have experience, like, they can't do anything about it. And I knew it was a good thing to leave this job because of the health concerns. And I thought that it would be easy for me to come back just because I left on a good note and the managers liked me and stuff. But it turns out that doesn't matter at all. It doesn't matter what anybody who actually works in the actual freaking store thinks of you. The company itself can just restrict you because maybe you got a few answers wrong. I mean, for all I know, I probably got like 2 answers wrong that were just completely ridiculous anyway. And that prevented me from, and they have like this restricted period where you can't apply for 6 months. I mean, what kind of bullshit is that? 6 fucking months. Now what do you do? When there's not many places hiring and you can't get a government assistance, all you can do is borrow money from people. But I'm not the type of person that likes to ask people for money. I don't like to seem like a mooch and like a beggar. I'm just tired of living this. I mean, it's not even paycheck to paycheck. I can't. And the jobs that I have been able to get since I left that job that I haven't been able to get back, they never paid enough money. So I never had enough money for rent anyway. And it was hard enough to, to just make anything. And I've thought about starting like another sort of like account, like another fundraiser or something to help me out and help me and my brother out, because we're still struggling, and the people that are landlords, even though technically they can't evict people at the moment, they have threatened to evict us. And because our brother loaned us $300, we were able to pay rent for last month. Well, technically for this month, or I don't even know, but it's nearing the end of June. July 1st, we'll owe rent, and there's no way that we're gonna be able to pay it, and they're gonna hit us up and they're gonna threaten to evict us and ask me, well, how come you haven't tried unemployment? How come you haven't, just go get a job? They're like these, by most people's standards, most, shallow people's superficial standards, they're hot girls, I'm not attracted to them, but, a lot of guys, there's a lot of guys I know that would be like, oh man, she's so hot. And they're just these stuck-up bitches. And, they're not understanding, they don't know what we've had to get, put ourselves through just to try and pay off the months that we owe money. And there's people who are in worse off positions than we are. And, what are they going to do? Maybe I shouldn't complain because there are people who are worse off than me, but I'm not going to lie, this sucks. This sucks, and I just don't... I wish that I didn't have... This is one of those things that makes me wish that I could just do any job and that I could just deal with anything. But I've never, I've struggled with dyspraxia my whole life. I've never gotten an official diagnosis. You can't get disability for dyspraxia in the United States because they barely consider it a disorder, and I don't think they really consider it a disability. But I feel kind of disabled right now. There's not much that I'm able to do. I can't drive. A lot of dyspraxias can drive, but I don't think I can just because of my poor spatial awareness and my motor skills and my poor reaction time. I just you're afraid. And having dyspraxia, the difficult thing is that you're caught between this sort of paradox where it's like you don't want people to just take pity on you and treat you like you can't do anything for yourself. But then there's other people who think that you're just like everybody else and that you should be able to do all these things that other people are able to do, like drive. My parents are still just like, well, how come you haven't gotten your license yet? Which is, first of all, you haven't done anything to help with that. Never gave me lessons or anything like that. And I'm sort of in this helpless position where I can't really pursue it. And I've never really been able to. But now that I understand more of my issues with dyspraxia, I don't know if I could drive, even if I had the resources to. Plus, I can't afford a car. I can barely afford food now. I have about $80 to my name. When that runs out, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to beg for money. I'm going to have to ask people to give me money. I hate doing that. I don't want to be one of those people, those e-beggar type people who won't get a job, not because they can't, but because they won't, because they're lazy. And so they just ask people for money. They bum people up for money. I don't want to be one of those kinds of people, but I don't really have a choice at this point. Things are just hard. You know, I didn't know that I was going to ruin my life by leaving this job just for my own health. But that's just, I guess that's just a lesson. You can't think about your own well-being because it's just going to lead to poverty. It's just going to lead to further, you know, and yeah. I know I won't end up homeless. I'm not worried about that because I know that I can move in. There's people who will have me, you know, who will put me up if things got that bad, if I did end up getting evicted, but it's not my ideal choice. And I'm afraid of what will happen. You know, like my friend, you know, he has consistently told me that I can come live with him and he'll set me up and help me, but you know, he lives in a small place and I'm afraid that, you know, if I ended up doing that, then it would affect our friendship, you know, because sometimes, you know, you can be good friends with somebody, but you know, if you live with each other in small quarters, your habits kind of conflict, and I'm just afraid of what that would do to our friendship. And with my parents, you know, I had to move it back in with my parents. Almost had to, you know, we actually planned to do that before we decided to stay here for now. This was whenever they announced the stimulus checks, which, you know, so we expected to get our checks. My brother got his a long time ago. In fact, I'm the only member of my family who never got their stimulus check. I don't know why. My friend Matt, who lives in California, he hasn't gotten his check yet. There's a few people I know who haven't gotten theirs. We're just the unlucky bunch. We're just those people I guess the government forgot about and don't give a shit about. America. I don't know. Who knows what to do? All I can think about is just writing. And anyway, I wanted to explain why I haven't really been making videos and why I may not be making. I may make some reaction videos here and there. I mean, there's things that I have sort of a list of things I still need to react to. There's a few things, like I've had people comment on my videos about Patrice O'Neal, and I've been meaning to check out more of his stuff. There was a stand-up special that was recommended that's supposed to be one of his great stand-up specials, Elephant in the Room. I was going to do a reaction to that. And I wanted to do a reaction to Dave Chappelle's most recent stand-up special. And I wanted to do like TV shows, you know, and anime and all sorts of stuff. But I just don't have the time to do sort of long videos like that. That's why I've been asking people to recommend videos that are like 10 minutes long or shorter. Just because those are easier to shoot and edit. But they still take a while because my computer always crashes or it runs slow and process is slow and all that, you know, all this, it's a process, you know, shooting the videos, editing them. I don't have a way to stream, so I have to download the videos themselves and sort of just edit, you know, time them and sync them up. That takes a little bit of time, and then processing takes some time, and then actually uploading it takes some time. You know, it's just it's not really, you know, it's a bit time consuming. You know, I'll shoot like 8 videos in like quick succession, and then it'll take me like a week to like go through all of them and upload them. You know, it's amazing that people have the time and the drive to do this whole reacting thing as consistently as some of them do. You know, and some of them have like these amazing graphics and editing, and I don't have the technical expertise for that. You know, I can't do logo design. I can't make music. I'm open to people helping me out with that if they would like, you know. But anyway, I just wanted to tell a little bit about what my life has been, what I've been going through at the time, and I'm going to be applying to more places. I'm going to try and focus on that. Still working on my book. That's going strong. The problem is it's too long, you know, and there's a lot of things I want to say in it, But I know that, since nobody knows me, I don't, and I don't really expect people to read a book that's like 600 pages. I don't think that's going to work. So I try to shorten it, but I also try to give the necessary information to tell the story that I want to tell. So I've been dealing with that, trying to figure out how to do that, and trying to do blogs, but that's hard to do. I have a few. I mean, if you want to check out my blogs, then go on the theatricdyspraxic.com. Some people have a hard time actually finding the link, but I assure you that if you Google it, then it will come up. I never have trouble going to it. I'll just type in the theatricdyspraxic.com, and I just immediately find my blogs. But some people have said that the link doesn't go anywhere. I don't really know anything about that, but usually people can find it if they Google it. I also have an Instagram. You just look up the Theatric Dyspraxic. That's, you can find my Instagram, and occasionally I post ridiculous videos and stuff, pictures and whatnot. But yeah, doing this whole content creating thing is difficult, and this probably ran way long. I mean, I'm really bad at just like, scaling down what I'm trying to say and getting to the point, and I don't really have a specific point for this video. That's why a lot of my videos end up being too long. So anyway, if you're still watching, thanks for watching my videos. I've gotten a little bit of attention because of things that I've reacted to, and I don't really know what's popular to react to these days. Obviously stuff that's like relevant to like pop culture now. But I mean, if you want to, if you want to recommend more stuff, then please let me know, and I will add it to the list, and I'll get around eventually to reacting to stuff. Music, comedy. I do readings, so theatric readings, anything, monologues, articles, short stories. Hello, thumb. Poems, anything, lyrics. Yeah. I like to do readings. I'm an actor. I'm not a professional actor, obviously, although I'm broke like one, or at least a struggling one. But I'm not even a struggling actor because I can't pursue an acting career professionally at the where I am, and in my position. But yeah, I like to do readings. I like to recite things, so feel free. Anyway, I think that's about it for this video, and not gonna edit it, just don't feel like dealing with that. But yeah, thanks for watching, and sorry I can't be more positive and sunnier, and I underneath all of this, I'm sort of like a hopeless optimist, and I want to get back to being like that, but just if my life turned out in a different way and under different circumstances, if I didn't have to go through the things that I've had to go through, and I was just lived a regular life, then I would be a lot more self-assured, but the things that I've gone through would turn anybody bitter, and it's kind of amazing that I still have some like some humor in things, or that I still have some sort of positive outlook on anything with the kind of things that I've had to deal with in my life. So there's still that part of me, but it's sort of like buried a little bit in just sort of my own, just the weight of life and everything. So maybe one day things will get better. I know that if things did get better, I would be able to appreciate it, and I would be able to enjoy everything, But right now, financially, emotionally, mentally, and I'm not even that much of an emotional mess. I'm more empty than anything, Like whenever I heard that I failed the assessment again, I didn't even feel anything but anger, and I kind of went off on the personnel lady, not off at her. I didn't come at her or anything, but I did. Express my frustrations with her and kind of vent it to her about all this shit, because it just doesn't make sense to me that it would be so hard And so impossible for me to come back, being 26 years old, having worked at Walmart twice before on good terms, and being an adequate employee, and yet these like teenagers get hired somehow, you know, and they don't know what they're doing, and you know, my old managers want me to come back, but I can't. So not till December, and who knows if we'll still be there then. And then of course, I don't know what's been going on with my hair. I mean, Jesus Christ, what the fuck is that? I mean, where's all the fucking hair? It's like, it's not even like receding, it's just like transparent. There's hair, it's just like, but you see so much scalp. You know? What the fuck is that? Why can't, you know, if I'm gonna go bald, why can't I go bald like a normal fucking person, you know? Why does my hairline have to fucking just start actually disappearing rather than receding? Most people, you know, they have a receding hairline, but they still have a hairline. But there's those people like me who have just like, they have hair, but it's just like clear, you know, you can see through it right to the scalp. And I go outside, I get sunlight, and yet it's, you know, it's, my scalp doesn't tan. And I've been growing it out. I'm growing out my hair again just because of the play that I'm doing in September. We're continuing the show that got canceled during the pandemic. And yeah, just too much to deal with. And boy, I, you know, as a kid, if I knew that my life was going to turn out the way that it has, you know, I mean, I should have died at 10 years old. I really should have, because that was the last time that life ever sort of threw me a curveball, you know, cut me a break. And, you know, I don't know, every day I get fatter and balder and uglier and more bitter and depressing, and it's not my fault. Like, that's the thing that sucks about it, is that it's not like I choose to be this way, and it's not like it's in my DNA. I mean, I could have turned out way differently, but sometimes people just get they just get a bad hand. And then they end up like this. Turning out, you know, just a bitter, miserable waste of an excuse for a person. And I don't know what else to say. No one's watching this, it doesn't really matter. I wouldn't watch this shit. I wouldn't watch videos like this. Why would anybody? But it's easier to make a video detailing this stuff and putting it out there than just kind of dealing with it on my own. I don't know. You know, it's not like I expect some like mystery benefactor to come with like, hey, you know, I'll give you a bunch of money and I'll help you out and hook you up with a job in the entertainment world and make all your dreams come true. But that's not the kind of reality that I live in. You know, I don't expect things like that. You know, I don't know. But I'll let you know if things ever turn around for me. Until then, it's just gonna be how it be. Bye. You're not watching this part.